Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends. Welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. So this week, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty continues to move some card prices. Although, overall, the market seems pretty calm. I think a lot of players are waiting to see what's going to happen with this upcoming preview season. Now, there's still a general big price adjustment happening in the market. You see a lot of cards going up between $1 and $2 almost randomly. That's been going on for a little while now. But in today's video, we're going to focus on the cards that are moving at least $2. So we're not going to discuss a card unless it's going at least $2 up or down. Quickly, before we start deep diving into the card price trends, just a fast reminder, if you go to FlipsideGaming.com, you can use the Heroes promo code to save 10% on orders over $10. Currently, you can pre-order Kamigawa Neon Dynasty products there. They also still have their holiday sale going on at time of recording, so if you check out that holiday sale page, the products on there already are at a reduced price, and then you can still use the Heroes promo code to get a further discount. Remember, as long as your order is over $100 or it consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. And whenever you use the promo code, it does support the channel, which is always appreciated. So thank you. And without any further ado, let's get into it. This week, I don't have a standard section. I think everything's just very stable there because players are waiting to see these Kamigawa previews. I do have one card in the Pioneer Legal Spotlight, though. And that card is Grim Tutor from Starter 1999. So it's going down 542 this week to 87.29. And this card overall has been soft ever since it did get reprinted in Core Set 2021. Now it's just been reprinted again in the Mischief Secret Lair. It does get a good amount of commander play, however, and many times you do see this in Yuriko the Tiger's Shadow builds. With ninjas returning in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, that commander build does have some additional interest right now. Alright, already it's time to check in on the Modern Legal Spotlight, where we talk about cards that are modern legal moving the most. And first we have some cards going down in value, and then all the rest of the cards in today's video are going up in value. First, we have Sliver Legion from Future Sight. This goes down 271 this week to 29.12. And this is another card that's been soft ever since it was reprinted. This time the reprinting came from Time Spiral Remastered. Sometimes this is a commander for a Sliver build, but typically you see it as part of the 99 in those decks. Next is the Ultimate Masters copy of Liliana of the Veil. It goes down 282 this week to 69.17. And this has not seen as much play since Modern Horizons 2 came out. A lot of things changed in the Modern meta. Some things even changed in the Legacy meta. Now, you do see this in Modern Smallpox, which currently is the most consistent place you'll find it in that format, but it's not one of the more popular decks. It is in some commander builds, though, including Turgid God of Fright / Turgid's Lantern. Next, we have Cavern of Souls from Modern Masters 2017. It goes down 292 this week to 88.95. Now, this joined the list with Keldheim, and it is still there. The list does not necessarily dump a lot of copies into the market. However, when a card's on there time and time again, those copies do start to add up and it can impact prices. This most likely would have been a much more expensive card without that list reprinting. Now, why do I say that? Well, because this sees a ton of play in a lot of places. In Modern, you're going to see this in Amulet Titan, Elementals, Merfolk, and much more. Legacy, it's in Doomsday, Azorius Bomberman, and much more there. Vintage, you'll find it in Humans. And in Commander, this thing is all over the place. One example is Alper Markov. Those decks have been very popular since Innistrad Crimson Vow came out. Of course, that said, as well as one of the commander decks that came out alongside it, Push the Vampire Tribe. Also remember, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty will be lending support to a number of tribes too, including ninjas, samurai, goblins, spirits, and dragons. Ren and 6, this is the copy from Modern Horizons. It goes down 386 this week to 104.26. So a number of months ago, Wizards did announce Double Masters 2022, and they showed the art from this card. With the reprint coming, it is a little soft now, as you can see, but again, we have a card here that gets a lot of play. In Modern, it's in 4-color Blink, Jund, 4-color Omnith, Indomitable Creativity, and much more. It's banned in Legacy, but you will find this in Vintage Teamer Control, and it also gets some commander play too in Lord Windgrace and other builds. Emrakul, the Eon's Torn. Now, this is the copy from the list that was there during Zendikar Rising and Keldheim. It's going down $466 this week to $47. However, another copy of this card is going up. You're going to see that in just a moment. Now, what I think you're seeing here is this copy from the list is normalizing down a little bit, getting closer to the price of other copies, but the card still sees a fair amount of play. In Modern, it's in Indomitable Creativity. It also shows up in various sideboards as an answer to Mill there. Legacy, it's in Mono Green Cloud Post, Omnitel, Sneak and Show, sometimes in the sideboard of Doomsday. But remember, this is banned in Commander. Denizen of the Deep, this is the last card going down in value today, but it is the copy from Portal Second Age Notice. It goes down 677 to 1343. So other copies of this card are really only valued at a few cents. This one I think is inflated still. I don't think it's worth $13 to $14. I don't believe anybody's paying that. But because it is harder to find in high grade, especially online, it does tend to get some price inflation attached to it, because even if there's just a few copies out there, one or two people with really extreme asking prices can skew the data. This isn't the type of card that sees a lot of sales, so there's not a lot to check it against. I will say this though, there was some spec interest in this back when Runo Stromkirk / Krothis Lord of the Deep was previewed, but even after that card came out, it didn't really seem to see any bump in play. You rarely see this used. Blightsteel Colossus, this time it's the copy from Mirrodin Besieged going up. It's up 246 to 5317. This is in a number of Commander decks, including a new one, Jacob Hawken Inspector / Hawken's Insight. Recently, though, Commander's Quarters did do a video looking at a 97-land Commander deck. This was one of the 3 non-land cards in it, along with Tybalt's Trickery and the First Sliver, which was the Commander. That video may have brought some additional attention to this card. And here's that other copy of Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, I promise. This is from Modern Masters 2015. It goes up $2.59 this week to $48.95. And guys, Servant of Oni, this is the one from Betrayers of Kamigawa this time. It is up $3.22 to $34.99. So this is the first ninja moving up in the section. There's another one coming up in just a second. Currently, you'll see this in Commander builds like Yuriko the Tiger Shadow. It's also in Marrow Nar. Wizards has said that ninjas will play a significant role in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, so that's part of the reason this is going up. Another thing to consider, though, is over the last couple weeks, we have seen a number of leaked cards. And there's 2 cards that tie in with rats that we've seen so far out of these leaks. One of them mentions rats, another one is a rat ninja. So when it comes to leaks, I'm not going to put them up on the screen or tell you the details. Obviously, if you're interested, they are out there, you can find them. But I do want to respect the fact that a lot of players want to wait until they're officially previewed before they see the cards. But when it comes to official previews, I do typically show you those. And Wizards has showed us some ninja support already. The 2 cards I'm referring to are on the screen. I'm not going to keep them up that long, but if you are interested in reading them, feel free to pause the video. They are Kaito Shizuki and Satoru Umezawa. This next card you're probably very familiar with if you've played Modern, Legacy, Vintage, Commander anytime recently. Most likely you've either played with it or played against it. It is Urza Saga. This goes up $5.66 this week to $44.54. So first, let me say this. The fact that this is an enchantment land might be making it a little more desirable right now. Again, those Kamigawa leaks did show us that maybe enchantments could be playing a role in the overall mechanics of the set. We also know that one of the Commander decks is called Upgrades Unleashed, and who knows, this might be a good upgrade for it. Aside from all that speculation, though, this card doesn't need a lot of help because it sees a ton of play. In Modern, it's in Hammer Time, Junt, Amulet Titan, Hardened Scales, Affinity, Thopter, Combo, and much more. In Legacy, you'll see this in Painter, Lands, 8 cast and more there. Vintage, it's in Grixis Tinker, Aggro Shops, Paradoxical Outcome, Oath of Druids, and more in that format too. Plus, it is a popular Commander card. It's in Urza Lord High Artificer and many other builds there. And our last card in this section is Haguri the Still Wind. This is the copy from Planechase Anthology going up $5.86 this week to $29.49. So this is another ninja moving up for the reasons we just discussed. Currently, it sees playing Commander Yuriko the Tiger Shadow builds. And that brings us to the Vintage Spotlight. This is where we talk about cards that see play in Legacy, Vintage, 93, 94, or cards that are just popular right now among collectors. And I do think because overall the market is relatively slow this week, that it is pushing more people into looking at some vintage cards. That seems to happen when not a lot's going on and people don't have something to focus on. Remember, in this section, the card prices you're going to see on the screen are very reminiscent of what you might see on a price tracking website because these cards see far less sales. For the more iconic and older cards, those prices tend to fall somewhere in the middle of high-grade raw and high-grade graded copies, so just keep that in mind. But if I see a price on the screen that doesn't feel like it's matching up with true sales, I'll let you know. First, we have Ancient Tomb, the copy from the list. It goes up $2.65 to $56.14. This was added to the list in Innistrad Midnight Hunt, and it did remain there for Crimson Vow. This is a highly played Legacy land. It's in Painter, 8 cast, and much more there. Vintage, you'll see this in Aggro Shops and Prison Shops. Additionally, it is found in many mana bases in different Commander decks. Entomb is next, and a couple different copies this week. The Premium Deck Series Graveborn copy, which only comes in foil, that went up $209 to $32. The Eternal Masters copy went up $288 to $32.82. This is in Legacy Reanimator, and it also got some additional Commander play recently in those Runo Stromkirk builds. Mox Diamond from Stronghold creeping up a little bit, up $574 to $649.99. In Legacy, this is in lands. It's also in Naya as well as Golgari Depths and Abzan Loam. On top of that, it is in a number of different Commander decks, including Yuriko the Tiger's Shadow at times. Next, we have Elvish Archers. This is the copy from Unlimited, going up $12.55 to $99.99. All the white border cards in this section are from the Unlimited set, so I won't keep saying that. When you see a white border card, just know it's from there. And there are quite a few of Unlimited cards that are creeping up this week. Here's another one. Mana Flare goes up $13.28 to $97.50. And Personal Incarnation is up $13.61 to $69.50. Livonia Salone, this is up $18.88 to $98.95. Mana Crypt is moving again this week. This time we have Eternal Masters up $6.82 to $199.99. And the original media book promo is up $25.71 to $387.50. In Vintage, this is in Grixis Tinker, Paradoxical Outcome, Aggro Shops, Prison Shops, 8 Casts, sometimes Oath of Druids. It is a very highly played Commander card as well. Sometimes you see this in Alper Markov. And aside from that, players have been picking this up as an upgrade to the Secret Lair Commander deck, Heads I Win, Tails You Lose. That is a coin flip deck, and the commanders are Okaun Eye of Chaos and Zendersplit Eye of Wisdom. Cabal Ghoul, this is up $36.48 this week to $297.47. Blessing up $39.90 to $299.70, or is it? While I have seen high-grade copies not selling for anywhere near this price, they go for around $13, but I have not seen a high-grade graded copy sell for a while. I do think this is one of those situations where the price on the screen is tied into asking price for high-grade graded copies, but it doesn't look like they're truly selling. Elephant Graveyard, this goes up $48.75 to $480. Brain Geyser is up $58.98 to $345.95. Ali from Cairo up $74.45 to $679.94. Gaia's Cradle from Urza Saga moving again up $85.80 this week to $1,100. In Legacy, this is in Elves as well as Maverick. Vintage, it's in Squee Hollowvine. Plus, it is a great Commander card too if you're lucky enough to own one. It's used in a variety of different builds. Old Man of the Sea is up $131.87 to $445, but believe it or not, I think this price is a little bit low. I've seen high-grade raw copies sell recently for at least a couple hundred more than this, and high-grade graded copies for far more than that. Howling Mine jumps up $337.21 to $537.50. Is that for real? Well, high-grade raw copies are selling for about $215, graded for about $310. I could see that price going up maybe soon, though, since the raw copies have been moving, but I don't think we're quite at this price point that you see on the screen yet. Here's another interesting one. Mishra's Factory, this is the summer variant from Antiquities. It goes up $387.42 to $576.10 in theory. Well, high-grade raw copies are selling for about $150, but I have seen high-grade graded copies sell for close to this price. Island of Wok Wok. This card tends to have a lot of market manipulation around it. Now, this week in theory, it's going up $631 to $3,749.99. Is that for real? Well, high-grade raw copies can sell for around $465 now. I did see a 9.5 graded copy sell for about this price, but it's very rare that you come across those type of sales. And finally for this section, we have Time Walk. It goes up $1,965.40 to $4,975. Is that one for real? Well, it's really hard to tell just because you don't see a lot of high-grade copies of these Power 9 cards selling very often. They're just too expensive. Typically, the ups and downs you see with Power 9 are created by a shift in the grades of the cards that are on sale that week. And that takes us to the Commander Spotlight, and all the cards in this section are moving at least in part because of Commander. If there's other reasons, though, I'll let you know too. Kokusho, the Evening Star. This is the one from Iconic Masters. It goes up $203 this week to $22.39. Currently, this does see play in a number of Commander builds. It is worth noting, though, that we have seen through leaks as well as true preview cards of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty that Dragon Spirits are coming back. I'll quickly show you the one that's officially been previewed. That is Atsushi the Blazing Sky. Sword of Feast and Famine. Now, this is the one from the Modern Event deck. It goes up $211 this week to $67.50. Another Commander card that can appear in a number of different builds. Also, we've seen a Kamigawa leaked card that indicates that it may matter how many creatures you have equipped, Again, assuming the leak is legitimate. We will know more soon, I'm sure. Palancron is here again. It goes up 216 to 76.35. Good commander card and combo enabler in a number of builds, including Orvar the Allform. Sensei's Divining Top. This is the copy from Eternal Masters, up 226 to 69.95. This is a very popular commander card. Recently, it did see some additional play in Runo builds. It is often found, however, in a commander build that we've talked a lot about today, Yuriko the Tiger's Shadow, and most likely that's why it's moving as much as it is today. It is banned in Modern and Legacy, but it gets vintage play in a number of decks. Grixis Tinker, Paradoxical Outcome, Oath of Druids, Underworld Breach, and 8-cast. Yavimaya Hollow is next, up 278 to 96.99. Good utility land found in a variety of commander builds. Flickering Ward, up 302 to 1005. Very old card that is yet to be reprinted. This is a good card for enchantment-heavy commander builds, including Sithis Harvest's Hand. The reason it's moving right now, though, again ties into some Kamigawa Neon Dynasty leaks. 2 cards in particular could be pushing this. I'll give you the names of the cards in case you want to look them up. They are Lightpaw's Emperor's Voice and Kami of Transience. Also, Commander's Quarters mentioned this in a video as a card that might be good in a commander build around Lightpaw's Emperor's Voice. Again, that video could have brought some attention to this. Beyond that, I would assume that white will be one of the colors in the Upgrades Unleashed commander deck. And if that's the case, this might be a popular upgrade for the deck. Survival of the Fittest from Exodus. It goes up 471 this week to 262.92. Probably not a coincidence, but this shows up sometimes in Sithis commander decks, and it's in a number of other builds there too. And finally, we have Eater of the Dead. This goes up 36.43 in theory to 91.38. Is that for real? Well, first off, you do have to consider that this is a very old card that's yet to be reprinted. And when it comes to the price you see on the screen, I have not yet seen them selling for 91.38. This is probably a situation where the card is spiking so fast that sellers are trying to stay ahead of the spike and inflating the price even more, but they could be willing to take a fair offer if you give them one. With that being said, I have seen raw copies in high grade of this sell for around $65. When it comes to gameplay, this is in Commander, Phoenix God of Deception builds. It's in a few other decks too. I have seen it occasionally in Umbra Sphere Manifest. Ultimately though, this card looks like it was targeted for a buyout. After the price began to jump, Alpha Investments as well as other content creators did discuss this spike, and that may have brought some additional attention to it. Alright, again this week I don't have a premium spotlight. I looked at a lot of cards, and there's always cards moving up and down dramatically in the premium market, but I don't like to spend time talking about cards that are just going to go up for a week or two because they're dry in the market, or cards that are being targeted for a buyout. I like to try to find things that are moving naturally, maybe because of a new deck or because of a preview card. And right now, I'm just not seeing a lot of that real organic movement. By next week, I'm sure something will pop up. But if you are in the market for premium cards, as I always say, do your homework, be careful, because there is a lot of market manipulation out there. And that's going to do it for this episode of the Match It Together Market Watch. Until next time, hey, stay safe out there. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.